So let's identify specific problem that we try to address. Elasticity. The pictures tell you a lot. When you can rub the skin backward or forward or up or down, that means we are losing a little bit of the supple and the firmness of the skin. Skin elasticity is an ability to stretch and snap back to its original shape. Now remember, if you have wrinkles, you cannot do it. Okay, elasticity or the loss of skin elasticity is known as elastosis. This is the professional name. And elastosis causes skin to look saggy. What we are going to focus now is how to keep the skin supple, firm, and not saggy. So let's start with the causes. Why do we lose elasticity? Or why do we have elasticity? So elasticity in our skin is brought up by the tissue that's called elastin. Now, if you look at the structure of, or cross structure of the skin, you see the top layer is the epidermis, below here it's the dermis, and then we have the fat and the muscle. The epidermis, straight, supple, firm, as long as we have a support system. The support system is based on fibers that are called collagen, the brown fibers, and elastin fibers. So we have two types of very critical fibers that hold the epidermis in its place. Now, what happens with aging or accelerated by sun and other factors, we start to lose the collagen, and they say the elastin totally breaks down. As a result, there is no support and the epidermis is collapsing. So we have wrinkles, fine lines. So this is the physiology, the biochemistry, very briefly, behind the formation of wrinkles. So when the epidermis really becomes so thin and there is no support system, then even the facial movement, the lines, become visible and causing deep lines, deep wrinkles, as you see in the picture. So this is the inside and outside. So our focus now is on the elastin. Elastin is a protein fiber that has a rubber-like properties. It can stretch and recall. And this is how we have the flexibility of the skin. So this function of elastin is very important, not only for the skin, but also for the arteries and connective tissue. So this is a visual effect of elastin. You see the fibers are loose, they are recoiled in this point. Now you can stretch it, so we can have a more pronounced environment of the fibers. And this stretch can go back and forth as long as the skin, what we call younger looking. So the stretch can come back with the elastin. Now, something happens that prevents the elastin to do what it's supposed to do. Compared to this, the collagen is not able to stretch. It is a holding fiber, not able to stretch. The only thing that able to give us the flexibility, the rubber-like, is only elastin. Now I want to take you to a completely different subject, and then we go back and connect. Let's talk about a process in the body that's called glycation. Glycation is a very simple non-enzymatic process that happens, and I give you two examples just to make it more visual and for you to better understand what is glycation. You hear the word glucose in glycation. So when you put the bread in a toaster and you get it caramelized and brown, this is a result of glycation, a reaction of sugar with protein. You have the glycation when you bake and you roast food. So this is the simple way. Now, if you know somebody who has diabetes, then you heard another expression that's called A1C. What is A1C? It's a phenomenon that's happened to people with high level of sugar in the blood. The red blood cells contain hemoglobin, and excess of sugar in the blood penetrate into the red blood cells. the sugar reacting with hemoglobin and form a complex that's called HB for hemoglobin, A1C. So this is a measurement to the amount of sugar in the blood. What is all connecting to us? So let's come back. Glycation. Glycation is a process of reacting sugars with protein. In this case, it's collagen or elastin. The reaction between the sugar and the proteins is non-enzymatic, which means it's not reversible. It's not like enzymatic reaction. It's non-enzymatic reaction, and now we have the glucose connected to the protein. Now, this complex can grow and become larger and larger and larger, and it's reacting with collagen, elastin, whatever is there, and the complex is not functional. It's like you have accumulation of trash, not recyclable. You don't know what to do with this, and it sticks and it stays in the cytoplasm, in the nucleus, anywhere, and it's not metabolized. It's just disturbing the process of metabolism and causing a lot of negative effect. This is called advanced glycemic end product, or in short, AGE, advanced glycemic end product. And you can see in the picture, people can see it under the microscope. And there are other ways that you can see it, and I will show you later on. So how this advanced glycemic end product, that's why it's called end, because there is no, that's the end. How does they form? So this is how it all starts with a trigger. The trigger could be interesting aging, like age. It could be external factors, such as sun. This is all activating the reactive oxygen species. And all this is enhancing the process of glycation. Again, sugar reacting with protein. In this case, it could be elastin or collagen. So now we have a cross-linking protein. As I said, it's an end product. There is nothing else that this can go through. And this is bring up the sign of aging. Familiar with the sign of aging. So the picture is there to advise you that this is a process of accumulation of ages. So now our focus will be first to better understand it, and then to find out ways how to inhibit, to limit it. Okay, it's always happening. The question is, can we modulate it? And that's the purpose of this technology that I'm going to show you toward the end. So stay patient with me. So let's just review it again. So we have a complex now of sugar reacting with the protein and forming the advanced glycation end product, AGE. Now, how does it affect us? So here you see a healthy, young-looking skin cross-section. You see the epidermis on the top. You see the collagen, and you see also the elastin. Now, older, glycated skin. Now, what you see, the cross-linking, this is the sugar that reacting in the fibers. As a result, we are losing the support, and the epidermis is folding down. Now we can see fine line and then deeper wrinkles. This is one way. This is causing the wrinkles on one way. The second way that's happening all the same time is we look now at the elastin only. Elastin now is able to be flexible at healthy, younger skin. But as we get older, now we have accumulation of ages, particles, and as a result, the elastin cannot be flexible. It's like blocking blocks that prevent the elastin from the flexibility. And this is how we lose elasticity. Now, let's summarize what we get so far. The results of ages include increase in number of wrinkles, stiffness of the skin, reduce the skin thickness, the epidermis is shrinking, elasticity goes down, you just heard why, the time to repair inflammation goes up, the time to wound closure goes up, and the barrier properties like maintaining hydration goes down. And I think the pictures are telling you the story. So now we have all this in place, and I will ask you, or you would like to know maybe, how can we detect that we have ages on our skin? So there is a special camera that can take pictures of the face and analyze this. And there are other type of instrumentation. And here you can see a picture of glycation on the skin. There is a scale, and you see the picture shows glycation of 0.6. And here is a picture of glycation on the face. And you can see the level of accumulation of ages on the skin, so people will know where to treat. And now we're talking how to treat, with what to treat. So this is the focus and the purpose of this webinar. So there are ways to know it, but you don't need this fancy equipment, right? You just look at the face and you see the 5 signs in which sugar is causing aging on the face, just on the face. 5 signs. Number 1, skin surface become harder, losing elasticity. Number 2, discoloration, uneven skin. Number 3, cross-hatch lines along the lip line. Number 4, deep surfaces, deep wrinkles. And number 5 is sagging skin. So you see any of this, you know there is an issue with excess sugar and formation of ages. Where we can find solution. So as usual, we're looking for natural ingredients, although I will show you some other chemicals that are not natural, but we are focused on finding solution from the nature with natural, sustainable sources. Several research groups were already looking to find ways to get rid of wrinkles, especially around the eye. And I found at least 2 that I share with you. One of them found that natural antioxidants, chelating agents such as ascorbic acid, alpha-tocopherol, vitamin E, and niacinamide, riboflavin, zinc, and manganese, they all have an ability to inhibit glycation of albumin. Albumin is a different protein than elastin. And this was found in vitro. The reference is below. Another group found that alpha-lipoic acid combined with antioxidants like vitamin C and E can also have an effect on inhibiting the glycation process. But the glycation process will continue as long as we don't treat it in the right way. So these 2 references are highlighting the role of antioxidants. But we are looking for natural solutions, totally natural. And here you see a paper reported on a recent development of plant product with anti-glycation review. And so this is a whole review. The results of this paper is presented in this picture. It's a little bit complicated, so let's do it slowly. Here you see the glucose reacting with the protein. This undergoes several reactions. I don't go into details until you get to the age here. Now, this research paper is showing the effect of different polyphenols that are able to block the process in each one of the steps. So what's interesting here, and I start from the end, you see in the bottom, our friend resveratrol that I spoke about him last week. So resveratrol is one of a good ingredient that can stop the process of forming ages. The other one that I'm going to focus today is procyanidin B2, and this stops the process almost toward the end of forming the NAGE. You understand the process is a long one, as you can see in this picture here. And there are different polyphenols, natural materials that can stop the process. But we highlight two, and we're going forward with only these two. So where can you find these two? So you know that you can find them in very common fruits like apple and grapes. They all contain polyphenols, and the polyphenols that we are already familiar, like resveratrol. And now I'm going to talk about procyanidin, which is a more complex polyphenol. So now we understand we have these two polyphenols. And what can they do? These are not the only fruits that can be used to stop glycation. Here is another one, Tindora. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. Tindora are baby watermelon that are not available, let's say in New Jersey, but maybe in other parts of the world, such as India. I think they are available. And a research group found out that this material has a wonderful feature. One of them is it can stop glycation process, and it even can lower blood sugar level. In other words, it works like insulin, but as an alternative to insulin. So Tindora may be excellent, but we don't have access to Tindora. So we have to use what we have access to. Now, I was looking for any other facts in the medicine and the biochemistry area that can show us that procyanidin can actually break down protein complexes. And here is another example, but it was not done on skin. So I want to tell you up front. There are other complex of protein that's called amyloid beta. Amyloid beta is a hydrophobic peptide. In other words, it's not soluble. It tends to precipitate. So it can deposit on the nerves, for example, and cause plaques. And these plaques are explaining Alzheimer, for example. Why do we don't have connection between the nerve cells? It's because of this plaque. So if you look at the diagram, you can see a nerve cells, and you see the point of connection. There are amyloid plaques, and some of the plaques can go between the nerve system, and they can block the communication. What's interesting to us is that when they tested the relative amyloid agglomeration, in other words, the ability to break down the plaque, they found the following. If you use the apple, just the apple polyphenols blend, you see the red line, you see how the plaque is going to break down. If you use procyanidin, the pure form, then it breaks down much faster. So here is an evidence that procyanidin, or generally apple polyphenols, are able to break down the protein plaques. This is in nerves. We don't know if this is exactly happening, but we have other sources that tell us that it works in the same way in the skin. So the idea now, our focus is how to inhibit glycation. The medical literature is providing information about drugs that have an effect to inhibit glycation, such as aspirin. Aspirin can do the same. Metformin, people that have diabetes are familiar with metformin. This is the basic drug given to diabetes people. And the Glycemic and other ingredients, they're all controlled products. But we are looking for natural solution. So a group in Taiwan in 2011 published another paper saying the following, that apple procyanidin B2 from apple, of course, can protect from the damaging effect of AGEs that causing the wrinkle and dull skin tone. This is a statement to remember. So they also say natural procyanidin is an age inhibitor. okay? And it doesn't have any adverse effects. So it's good and it's better. So now we know that we have a way to use it. We always look for more than one ingredient, and we're looking for the combination. And here I want to show you a paper in which the reporting using a combination of resveratrol and procyanidin as an anti-aging material. And this is probably the basic for our technology development. After we saw that this phenomena of using both resveratrol and procyanidin by independent multiple research centers convinced me, at least, and others, that this is the way to go. So this study used a blend and looked at different parameters that indicating aging of the skin. And the details of the papers are listed here, so one can look into this. This took about 60 days. It was in vitro, in vivo, and these are the bottom line, the conclusion. Number one, the level of skin hydration was up for those that were treated with the blend. Number two, elasticity of the skin was up. 3, skin smoothness was up. Extent of skin antioxidant pool was up. So there is a method to measure how much reservoir of antioxidant you have. But the systemic oxidative stress level was down, which means you don't have a lot of free radicals that causing the damage. So these are the 5 major conclusions that this study found out. This study was done in Italy, a peer-reviewed magazine. So this is established now that the blend has wonderful benefits for the skin. Now, we're trying to take this idea and put it into commercial product. Can we actually take polyphenols from apple and other botanical and put them in a lotion? We know that if we bite into the apple, after a short time, we see discoloration, which means it's antioxidant activities. And therefore, we have to protect the apple content, the polyphenols, from premature oxidation, so we don't get the black color or the brown color. For that purpose, of course, the immediate response from us was we can encapsulate the functional ingredients.